Hi, I'm Emery, and unfortunately my partner Guadalupe could not be here today. Welcome to our PBL video on the Ebola virus. We hope you enjoy watching Harmony Public Schools. Once you have been infected with the Ebola virus, Ebola then enters and infects your dendritic cells. Dendritic cells are a type of antigen-presenting cells that have an important role in your adaptive immune system. The dendritic cell then becomes a production machine for the Ebola virus. The dendritic cell then infects and kills T and killer T cells. T cells develop in the thymus gland and are responsible for immune responses. Killer T cells find and destroy infected cells that have been turned into virus-making factories. The natural killer cell, which is a type of white blood cell that helps in the immune system, then finds the Ebola-infected cell. The natural killer cell then kills the infected cell. However, it later becomes infected. The Ebola then affects monocyte and macrophage cells. Monocyte cells ingest harmful, dead, and damaged cells in the bloodstream. Macrophage cells are a type of white blood cell that gets rid of unwanted microscopic particles, including bacteria and dead cells. Monocyte and macrophage cells then signal the blood vessel to release fluids into the body. So neutrophils, which are a type of white blood cell that destroys harmful microorganisms, are then signaled by macrophages to release more fluids, including blood, into the body, which causes internal bleeding. Ebola then attacks your liver, which causes organ failure and, unfortunately, even more internal bleeding. The scary part is, the harder your immune system fights, the worse it is for you. So basically, the healthier your immune system, the more damage will occur. Desperate times call for desperate measures. A cytokine storm, which is basically the last resort because all your immune system is working together, is launched. However, critical damage is done. Fluids then flow out of every hole in the body, and extreme dehydration begins. There is not enough blood to supply the organs with oxygen. If you reach this point, you are most likely going to die. Currently, 6 out of 10 infected with the Ebola virus die. The only way to get infected is to ingest the body fluids, such as saliva, of someone who is already infected. Important facts to know. Ebola starts like the flu, with high fever, body aches, and sore throat. However, vomiting, rashes, and diarrhea soon follow, which differentiates Ebola from the flu. Now here is our ELA component. The first reported Ebola case in the United States was diagnosed September 30, 2014 at Texas Presbyterian Hospital of Dallas. The patient, who was later identified as Thomas Duncan, was infected with the disease while inhabiting Liberia, Africa. He then traveled to Dallas, Texas, and 4 days later, he began displaying symptoms. Duncan was being monitored until he passed away on October 8th. 2 days later, a nurse who was treating Duncan was diagnosed as well with the Ebola virus. She was released on October 24th from the National Institute for Health Clinical Center. On October 10th, another nurse who treated Duncan tested positive for the virus. She was transferred to Emory Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, and was released on October 28th. The last date for a reported Ebola case in the United States was October 24th. The New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene diagnosed a medical aid worker who returned from Guinea positive for Ebola. The worker was released on November 11th from Bellevue Hospital Center. Now here is our social studies component. Our project is on the Ebola virus and its effects in general. On this page, we'll be summarizing past Ebola outbreaks and also comparing and contrasting the past to the present regarding Ebola and trying to bring an end to the deadly virus. Scientists first believed the virus was to be yellow fever, typhoid, or Lassa fever when an epidemic first appeared in Zaire, Africa, now known as the Republic of Congo. However, many began suspecting second thoughts on the unknown virus being yellow fever due to the fact that patients were experiencing hemorrhagic symptoms, which were extremely unusual in yellow fever. Lab technicians tested the unknown virus with antibodies for those diseases, as well as other deadly fevers. Unfortunately, all the tests came out negative. With those two things in mind, scientists came to a final conclusion. This virus was a new virus with hemorrhagic and high fever, as well its main and distinctive symptoms. In 1974, only 3 labs outside the Soviet Union could handle a hemorrhagic fever. Fort Detrick, Maryland Army High Security Laboratory in Portsdown, England, and Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia. When scientists saw photos of the virus and all the technicians believed it was Marburg, which was a virus identified in 1971 in Germany when pharmaceutical workers became infected with a bunch of monkeys from Uganda. Unfortunately, they did not have any Marburg antibodies, so they could not prove that it was the Marburg virus. On October 14th, scientists proved the unknown specimen was not Marburg. It did not react to the Marburg antibodies. Scientists concluded that this was a new virus and its main distinctive symptom were fevers. The countries that were infected with the Ebola virus in 1976 to 2012 were the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, Gabon, Côte d'Ivoire, South Africa, and Uganda. The current countries with reported Ebola cases are Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, the United States, and Spain. Ebola has been around for more than 4 decades, and it is obvious that a vaccine should have been made. The World Health Organization chief Dr. Margaret Chan says the reason why an Ebola vaccine has not been made yet is because the virus previously only affected poor African nations. Since a vaccine has not been made, doctors treat their patients by their symptoms. This brings an end to our video. Thank you for watching Harmony Public Schools, and we hope you enjoyed.